Corny memories activate.
TAC! 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 TAC!
You could have kept going.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of The Angry Chicken. Hello, welcome back to The Angry Chicken. This is The Angry Chicken. Welcome back, everyone, to The Angry Chicken. This is The Angry Chicken. I'm Garrett, joined as always by Jocelyn. I'm Garrett Weinzierl. I'm joined as always by Jocelyn Moffat. Hello, Jocelyn.
Hello, Garrett.
As always, Jocelyn Moffat.
Hi, guys.
Here with The Angry Chicken live at, well, not live when you're watching this, but we're at BlizzCon in person.
We are living people at the moment.
We are real people.
Alive. We are alive. Hopefully.
Welcome to the joint podcast of The Instance and The Angry Chicken.
This is the episode coming to you live from BlizzCon 2017. We're at BlizzCon right now, hanging out in a hotel room, drinking bourbon.
Welcome back, Nerdtacular 2015. This is The Angry Chicken. We have a Team Jocelyn in the front row for the audio-only listeners. I'm gonna play-by-play this. Where's the
love you guys.
Where's hashtag Fire Garrett? That's what I want to see come up next.
And I still won't have Year of the Unicorn. And we'll be on Year of the not even existing in WoW creatures yet. And it's just, I still won't even get, not even a Corsair. We're not even gonna have Year of the Corsair.
I'm being poked by Jocelyn, everyone. You know, short
It
of...
was like, we're kind of thinking maybe we're gonna try this. What do you guys think?
Well, except it was Bros. It was like, hey, everybody, we're here to talk about Hearthstone. And I'm going to shoutcast a thing, and this is a bad Ben Brode impression. You get the idea.
It's terrible. So, there you go. Young is also very excited.
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
I kind of lost my voice though, so.
Cheers.
Cheers. I almost drank to my mic.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Garrett, here as always with Jocelyn and a wonderful panel of regular recurring guests here on The Angry Chicken. Let's see, around the table in no particular order. I'm going to go with the guy with the brightest colored background. Audio listeners, he's sitting in front of a green screen. You may know him from the Ghost Inside. We know him as one of our favorite Hearthstone streamers, Jonathan Vigil. Welcome back to the program.
Hey, what's up, guys? Congrats on 400. That's gigantic. For real.
Thanks, dude. And to his left in Discord is none other than Slysssa.
Oh my gosh. Watching the memories of the Angry Chicken, because I'm slightly newer to Hearthstone, and seeing all of that, oh my gosh, Jocelyn, loving all the hair.
I went through some phases.
That's amazing. I love change of looks, and it's so cool to see. So I was really into watching all the
just the hair.
Yes, I was like, okay, so we went blonde. Oh, now we're with blue, and now there's a fade.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh, well, speaking of many haircuts, a man of many hats, RidiculousHat, currently hatless, is also rejoining us for the program.
Thank you. That was not the segue I was expecting. I was like, he's going to talk about Chad's hair because it's purple. No. Yeah. My hair is not purple. There's no hat. There's nothing interesting happening up here. Hey, congrats on 400. I think really the hairstyles of the show were fascinating. Blue Hair Joss, I'll point out, I believe Blue Hair Joss was the one that saw the future and was like, I don't know, kobolds? I believe that's, yes.
Ooh, yeah.
They put candles in their announcement, okay? Candles and WoW mean one thing.
It's true.
It's blue hair, see the future. I'm convinced. And also, we should talk about Garrett's hairstyles over the years because there was a lot going on there, buddy.
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah, it was a journey. Also, I was not emotionally prepared for the amount of Dave Kosak I just saw. And now I'm just gonna.
Sorry.
There's so many Team 5 members in those clips, man. Young and Brode and
it was hard to
and people in the same place at the same time.
What is that?
I don't know.
COVID world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, Meta. I was working on that this morning, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna pull some stupid clips." Like I pulled us drinking bourbon, doing a live BlizzCon show, and
Drinking my mic by accident.
That was my favorite clip.
and I'm like, "Yeah,
You guys looked happy."
yeah." So I started pulling the dumbest things, and then somewhere along the edit, I'm like, "This is kind of weirdly earnest," and I'm just gonna lean into it because I don't have enough time to do anything else. So yeah, there you go. There's our memories. Thank you everyone for coming to our slideshow. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. But also joining us today is rejoining us. You may have actually seen him in the clips just now. The original Chadgar, Celestalon.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Congratulations on 400 episodes, guys.
Thanks, man. We're so glad you were able to come and join us for this. It was a weird pitch. I was like, hey, I just want to have way too many people than is feasible to have a conducive conversation all on at the same time. Because we've been doing this for too long. And I don't know how else to celebrate. So thanks.
Vigil's dogs are also excited for this too.
My dog got very excited. I apologize.
Hilarious.
I believe the dog translation was happy 400. So tell your dog thank you. Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear from my chihuahuas at some point.
Probably won't hear from mine.
Yeah. So it was.
How many total dogs are here right now? How many total dogs do we have among us?
One here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Garrett?
I have 3.
Garrett, where's your fingers?
I have three dogs. But they're chihuahuas, so really they all add up
dogs?
to like a half
9
dog.
Yeah.
And I have no pets. So
you've got hats. You've got hats.
I've got hats, but allergic to fur and hair and stuff, and I live in 1,000 square feet in New York City, so you can't exactly have a room dedicated. So I'm just jealous of all of your fur babies.
So much blue.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You could get a Sphinx cat. One of the hairless ones.
I could. They look kind of like bags of skin, and I'm.
They do. They do. They're shockingly soft for looking like bags of skin.
I believe you. That's not the best sales pitch. Believe it or not.
It's funny because they are bags of skin. It turns out. So that's why they look that way. That's why.
It's all bags of skin. Yeah. Wait.
Here on the Angry Chicken 400, we get very metaphysical about the nature of our existence.
Darn right we do.
Some of us have first, though, right?
Next time someone's mean to me, I'm like, you're just a bag of skin. Like, that's going to be my comeback.
I'm waiting for your next YouTube video. Winning Tavern 6 with bags of skin. Yeah.
We're getting personal, darn it. I don't know about you, but this is the closest thing I think I'm going to experience to BlizzCon in a while is this 6-person call right now.
Here on the Grumpy Rooster, we're just bags of skin.
Getting existential.
Just envision one guy beneath a single light bulb puffing a cigarette. Ugh, just a bag of skin.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We're all just getting our poppers now?
Who needs to talk about Hearthstone?
If we're gonna get into.
We got priorities here.
If we're gonna talk about dogs. Yeah, we need to do it now before we start talking about shenanigans and Ticketus coming to Battlegrounds. Yeah. I saw that Photoshop.
What else is there to talk about in a Hearthstone podcast?
Yeah, that's the hilarious thing, right? Because when we pinged all of you about this, we're like, hey, you want to come on for 400? We didn't know there was gonna be news. It was just. Yeah, we're just trying to not do this on.
Maybe some of us did.
I'm sure.
Things?
I'm sure one of us had some insight to what was going on today.
I would like to point out that
Josh did.
In regards to poker faces, Celestalon's is actually very, very poor. I saw right through it. Even though we were talking in text, I was like, "Oh, something's up." Just gave it away.
I said nothing.
No, I've gotten a few DMs from folks who are like, because there was a leak last week. I don't know if you saw that one, Celestalon. Did you?
I have no idea.
What you thought about the leak? Yeah. So there's a leak last night. I started getting at mentions from listeners. They're like, "Wait, you announced that you're doing your 400th episode on Tuesday. Do you know something?" I'm like, "No, we're literally just trying to not do this on inauguration day. That is it. That was the only thing we're trying to avoid."
Whole plan.
Yeah, Garrett originally messaged me like, "Hey, let's do it maybe on Wednesday," and I'm like,
True story, by the way, not a bit.
Want to do that?
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna pull eyeballs away from Lady Gaga. I think that is a viewer fight we lose.
100% of the time.
sure there's some Lady Gaga fans in the TAC audience right now. You know,
I love Lady Gaga.
Yeah. You may lose
Who's
some.
not a Lady Gaga fan?
Yeah, like
Now am I getting judged by Vigil? Let's do it. Judge me.
no judgment, dude. I love Lady Gaga.
I had to listen to that on Top 40 Radio, working retail for way too long. It was one of the few things I didn't hate by the end of it. Yeah, so it's a hell of a friggin' Hearthstone week. As also is the nature of celebrating 400 episodes. We may do a bit of a look back, talk about not just 400 episodes of this show, but 7 years and change of Hearthstone. But yeah, I guess around the table, let's talk about the hot news. Like, we've got a mini set coming out. We've got a major Battlegrounds update with a hero that keeps prizes around, I guess, once prizes leaves. But prizes aren't leaving Thursday, right?
Yay!
No, prizes are not leaving on
You
Thursday.
get 2 prizes with Ticketus.
Yes, Ticketus gets 2 prizes.
Oh my
Ticketus gets
God.
double prizes. And Ticketus is how we get to keep the Dark Moon prize mechanic around forever.
Okay, cool.
does he also get like extra long turn timers? Cause
No, he won't get the extra long turn timers.
Oof.
And Slysssa, I saw your tweet. We're looking into it.
What? I've been saying this forever. No, thank you for looking into it. It's really been hurting. I've been screaming about
I hear you.
Turn 12 has just been like a terror in my mind. I always end up with 10 gold. I'm like, what happened?
So, originally there was prizes, like we had some prizes in test that was real like APM testing, and
Oh God.
and we pulled back on that a little bit.
Good.
I think there's a couple like there's a couple like final tier prizes that now are like your next 3 refresh or the next something about refreshes, and buying minions was cheaper or something, and it was like unlimited, so it was just an APM. Like we turned away from that part early on in design because that was just like too rough on us boomers.
So there's a prize on turn 16 where you get to discover a prize from each tavern tier. So
That
it takes you a
one's
while
probably
to
the hardest.
decide that prize, and then you have to decide all the other 3 prizes, and then you have to spend 10 gold. And you're
I'm
no
imagining
time.
I'm imagining podcast listeners at home a day or two from now listening to this going, well, that must be so nice that you're consistently making it that far into the lobbies.
I just play a lot of games. I've looked into it. I play 20 games at least per day, so I just have a very big sample size.
That is noteworthy.
That's a lot of lobbies.
A lot of Battlegrounds.
That's a lot of
BG.
Battlegrounds. So I on my 1 day off per week, I have to like tell myself like, no, you can't play. Step away from the computer. So
I was gonna ask, you don't play off stream at all? You only play on stream?
I used to play a ton off stream. I play a lot off stream actually, and I've been trying to not let myself play off stream, but it's a battle. It's a mental battle that I have.
I'm sorry we make you want to play the game.
Yeah, how dare you?
I don't think he's actually sorry.
How dare you make me enjoy a game? Yeah.
That sounds like the kind of snarky response that 2021 Ixar would tweet these days.
He is.
I am a fan. I love Ixar Twitter.
I am
coming
here
out.
for it. I am here for it. The response that he had in his AMA about Priest only having not nice mechanics from now on, I died.
Oh, jeez. I was adjusting something on my end, so I didn't keep the conversation going. Go me.
How dare you?
Yeah.
It just gives us a moment to appreciate the beautiful hair you've got there, Garrett.
Oh, thanks. Well, I mean, I guess flowers calling the pot beautiful. Is that what's going on?
When we get to have an in-person BlizzCon, I want to do your hair.
I would love to take you up on that. Also, you popped into a stream the other day and promised that I could like test drive your car, which I'm also going to take you up on.
It's true.
So,
Yeah.
We need to be good and
Hmm?
vaccinated by then.
So, do you dye your own hair?
I didn't usually pre quarantine, but I don't bleach my hair, so it looks terrible right now. Or I don't bleach my own hair, so it looks like terrible and just browny purple right now. But yeah, usually I've got a stylist I go to for doing mine.
So
Multiple
we're the
colors on
opposite.
yourself.
I used to never bleach my own hair, and now I always bleach my own hair.
Well, you also have like naturally much more colorable hair, I think, right?
You see my
No?
eyebrows?
All right, maybe not. You do it real well then. You do it real well then. So
You just
proud.
gotta cover it with the color, and you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was born blonde. I was raised a blonde, but that went away.
Garrett's roots right now are my natural
Totally
color.
unfair.
So,
Yeah, it darkens over. I explain this to my chat all the time that blonde hair darkens over time, and most blondes have fake blonde hair because they have to lighten it, and they just don't believe me.
yeah.
No, I started with like white blonde hair and then just darker and darker and darker. So sad.
Yeah, but most people would look at you and say like, "That's natural blonde," and I'd be like, "She does a great job, but it's not."
This is a hair podcast now, chat.
Listen,
This is the second hair podcast you've done this week. Your podcast with Seraphis, you talked about your hair for at least 25 minutes.
They told me beforehand, like they wanted to talk about that. They wanted to talk about the Celestalon, so it's on my mind. So,
well, how can you not talk about it? Look how cool it is.
It's not cool right now. This is terrible, but it will be. It will be. I got to get back to it.
If folks are not familiar with our 100 like anniversary episodes, like they're all like this. It's just we're gonna hang and talk, and the conversation's gonna do its own thing. For the podcast audience, they've already heard the news rundown. So we did our job. We informed the listeners about what's happening in Hearthstone. So now it's party time. So
I'll stop directing. We can talk.
A loose outline of what we're talking about.
We can talk about Hearthstone. It's fine.
I knew what I was getting into.
I'll stop derailing us.
I knew what I was getting into. Getting Jocelyn, Slysssa, and Celestalon all in the same episode. I knew hair talk was going to happen. So, and this I didn't even have to force it at this point.
You have great hair.
Exactly. I was hoping for it. I was prepared to force us to talk about hair, but it just happened naturally. So it's wonderful.
Hey, John, how you doing, John?
Dylan. Yeah, we're just the gingers who just have regular hair.
The chat room was asking about your
Just like,
beard. They wanted to know, Vigil, do you oil the beard or is it just naturally?
You
perfect?
have to. It's at a point where it's like it gets scraggly and like wiry looking, and it looks not good if you don't like tame it some. So I have face hair. That kind of counts, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
I used to have a real scraggly beard.
I've dyed that.
It counts.
I've dyed people's facial hair.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
I can't
And if you
imagine
think about it,
painting my
really,
face hair. That's crazy.
if you think about it, really, the hair is just a covering. We're all just bags of skin.
Gotta bring it right back there. Well done.
Just call back to the start of the episode. Let's go.
Well, now
That's the title of the episode.
I haven't.
The Angry Chicken 400 bags of skin.
Bags of skin.
Yeah,
Gross.
this episode will live forever in infamy.
We need to have a conversation about SEO after the podcast is over. Okay.
Yes.
So imagine people typing
you're
that
gonna
into
get-
Google bags of.
You're gonna get optimized results, but you might not like them.
Oh, good Lord. So back to the current events of Hearthstone.
Sure.
Back to the fact that it was just announced we're getting 35 new cards. It's a mini set. It can be purchased for $14.99 or 2,000 gold, plus the Battlegrounds update, plus the Duels update, so on and so forth. There's just a lot was dropped today, or should I say confirmed today if I'm being cheeky. But like what's it been like, dude? I'm gonna direct this to you first, Celestalon, like, because Joss and I were talking about this when we were covering the news about this big announcement, and this is maybe leaning. I mean, all these design questions I guess could also work for Battlegrounds as well, but this one particularly made us think about the mini set was like how much of like the current meta like informed the design of this mini set.
Well, I mean, we've talked before about how like our process for making expansions and how we sort of have, well, not sort of, we do have like multiple in the pipe over time, or like working on a set that's not going to come out for like a year, right? So, but we're working on multiple at the same time. So designs, the closer they are to release, the more locked in they are, and the more just like fine tuning and adjustments we do are. So a mini set's coming relatively soon after the main set there. So the design of these cards, not super a reaction to the live meta. We kind of do our best to predict that, and then we go back and tweak things here and there to adjust power levels as need be based on the meta, or like encourage or discourage gameplay we want to see more or less of, that sort of thing.
Okay. Revolve Shaman, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't play Standard. I just read Twitch.
Same.
I have no idea what I'm saying.
I'm kidding.
So we've heard in the past with like the bigger sets that there's usually like a few kind of like flex slots for kind of reactive card design. Was there any of that in the mini set?
Yeah. Let's see. So like I haven't worked on final design for this, so I'm trying to remember what a good example of this is. But
maybe the one drop that gives armor. That seemed very like
anti. No, that's been in that's anti-aggro, but we kind of knew that like it was expected that aggro was going to be a little on the upside from Darkman Fair, and this was a little bit of pulling that back. Just to we like to have that sort of variation of like the game overall feels different between expansions and mini sets in this case. So yeah, that was intended and had been there early on. I think a lot of it is just like finding the right power level for things. I know here's one example. Landslide on Shaman was looking really good, and late in the process we changed it to just if you're overloaded, do one more. It used to be do one more for every loaded mana.
Oh wow!
Got.
Oh, that's spicy. Okay.
That's Defile-esque.
Yeah, it was a little Defile-esque. So that's just sort of the adjustment based on live power levels sort of thing. Gotcha. Lightsteed isn't I'm looking at chat. Lightsteed isn't a unicorn because there's not unicorns in WoW, in Warcraft.
There are unicorns in Warcraft. They're just not called unicorns.
They're not unicorns. So, but that means a unicorn is a mythical creature. So, I mean, maybe we could have a year of the unicorn. If we have a new year coming up soon, don't we?
Don't tease me.
I mean, don't get rid of the year of the Phoenix. This year should last forever.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's just about to rotate and it gets reborn.
Year of the Phoenix 2. Slysssa Boogaloo.
I mean, this year kind of got like put on hold for live events, so I think it'd be fair to.
Does this year really count? Right. Yeah.
Right. I think it would be fair to just reborn the Phoenix as Jocelyn said.
Or did Year of the Phoenix curse 2020, and are we dooming 2021 to be cursed as well by resurrecting the Phoenix?
I would be okay. So if it can't be Year of the Phoenix, I'm all on board for Year of the Happy Cow.
Well,
you have my full support.
A Phoenix does die and then come back to life and re-rise, right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's something there.
Don't you have a song about a Phoenix, Vigil? I feel like you'd be in the know of the lore of Phoenixes.
We do have songs called Phoenix Flame and Phoenix Rise. That is true. As far as lore goes, I only know that they die and come back to life. That's as far as I go. So I'm sorry.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell, right?
I think, right?
To Celestalon, to your point of their mythical creatures, so that lets them, maybe be on the board for it. I would like to point out that there's also non-mythical creatures.
The dragon already.
But there's just horses. Yeah, it's just like going through them. I'm like, wait, I can get a horse in WoW. That's a thing. But yeah, it's strictly Corsairs, right? Those are the unicorns.
Steed.
Or coursers. I don't know how you actually say it, but yeah, that's what they are in WoW.
Yeah.
I can both
Coursers.
ride one, and it's also my soul shape. So yeah, I just have a unicorn.
Wait,
WoW.
doesn't the free mount you get from playing Hearthstone in WoW have a horn on it?
No, it
No.
doesn't.
So.
It's like this stone horse thing.
With
Yeah.
like glowing
I
blue
thought, for some
bits.
reason, I thought it did. I haven't played WoW in a while. So.
Steed? Yeah.
Yeah,
The heart
steed,
steed, yeah.
We that was a great crossover. We got a lot of listeners saying they became interested because they were WoW players and they found our podcast. So, not saying you should do more crossovers, but please do more crossovers. It's wonderful for our listener base. It's great.
I appreciate it.
So, yeah. What about, I mean, Battlegrounds? I'm assuming there's a certain amount of the meta that comes into play when design is happening over there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you mentioned that Ticketus, like it sure seems like looking at it that was the intention, is to keep this spell thing around even once spells for everyone kind of that event comes to an end.
Yeah. We knew this was a really cool thing, but what the prizes that is, but just sort of leaned into it being very Dark Moon fair themed. And tailored specifically to that. So it could be this like special event, and we go a little heavy on it because it's the focus at the current time. And then we can go have a little touch of it stick around with Ticketus.
That's rad. The only of all the things that are being changed, and I think Floating Watcher going away is the one where I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about that. It's been such a staple of every time I've drafted demons since the card's been added that I think I'm sad to see it go, but the new demons are really interesting looking.
Yeah, both of the new demons are interesting and pushing in different directions. Well, like at tier 4, like Ring Matron is just a solid bunch of stats. So you might like early on use, triple into a tier 4. That's a good option. Soul Devourer is kind of like, if you've got a board space, it's just a free buff if you've got a demon and don't care about its abilities. But yeah, we want to mix things up in that way. So
I never tripled into Floating Watcher anyways. He never showed up for me.
Yeah.
At 20
games, I always wanted and never got.
At 20 games
every time I try to go demons, I'm just like, yes, keep growing, and then I'm like, I just killed myself. I just played something and it killed myself. Oh, cool. I guess I'm 6th place for me. Cool.
I got to catch up with one of my like lifelong friends, like this dude I've been friends with since I was 5 years old, and he started playing Battlegrounds, and so we did like a COVID catch up over Discord the other day, and he was playing some Hearthstone. I'm like, dude, why are you skipping all these demon things? He's like, oh, every time I play it, I get to 1 health and I can't play anymore. And I'm just like, that's right. Not everybody is like really in the know about this game. And I'm just, I realized I like caught myself being super like unchill, be like, no, that's what Mal'Ganis is for. But Mal'Ganis is on tier, and like just going to like just exploding all this information at my friend.
Wrong.
And I had to catch myself. I'm like, wait, we're here to catch up and talk about life. He's not here for my one man podcast act. It was
It's fun to hear about your friend. Like I have a girlfriend of mine who I found out it's been playing a ton of Battlegrounds, and I was like asking her, I'm like, how are you doing? Like, what's your MMR at? And she sent it to me. She's at 4K. But then she was like, but I always concede when I don't get a hero I want. I was like, oh, okay. So what if we try not conceding every time you get a hero you don't want. Let's see where we go. And she's at 6K now, so I was very proud of her. I was like, all right, that's great. So probably above average. So
I always wondered who was doing that. Almost every lobby, I get a little skull at the bottom, and I'm like, who does that?
That's probably my friend. She was unhappy. Yeah. She was like, what? No, Elise, I'm out.
As someone who likes to think of themselves as a Mr. Bigglesworth main, it is very disappointing when you start a lobby and there's 2 people already gone. You're like, well, I guess I'm next.
I feel that Ragnaros kind of feels that way too. It's like, ooh, depending on how this rolls out, I may not be getting this hero power done until turn 16.
Right.
I had one of those this week. Oh God. That it just feels rough. It feels real rough.
This is interesting. Not to talk about like Hearthstone or anything, but Ragnaros. He was a tier 2, pretty high up at the start of this meta with the prizes, and now he's fallen a bit. But nothing's changed, so it's kind of interesting. Anyways, back to hair.
People play differently. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hair. It's hard to compete with Ragnaros' hair. It is literally fire.
It is on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's still over on Nature's Replay right now. But he's still top 5. He's doing all right.
Is he?
Yeah.
In the top 20, top 50, or top 1?
Oh, I guess. Okay, it's at the top.
Get
50.
on Slyssa's level, Garrett. God.
Excuse me. Sorry, I wasn't logged into my account, so it was defaulting me to the freebie.
Okay. Yeah, he's still up there. I'm very happy about Cthulhu being top 3.
Yeah, Cthulhu. I remember when like Cthulhu got revealed, I saw a lot of people, my Slysssa, I believe. Yeah. A lot of people doubting the power of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I get real stoked. He's probably my favorite hero to get right now. Like it's
I love
Elise, Akazam, Omu. I know they're all doing great, but I would so much rather play Cthulhu.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What was
for him?
I think there was a lot of not expecting the right way to play him to be literally hero power every turn.
Yeah.
And evaluating him wrong. Turn 1, got no minions? No, just hero power. Just smash the hero power button every turn.
Yeah.
In retrospect, it seems somewhat obvious, but yeah. It's a very...
the curve is weird because you actually, for those who don't know how to play Cthulhu, you hero power turn 1 and roll if you don't have a token in front of you. So you look for a token. And turn 2, you buy the token, sell the token, right? Because then you still have 1 minion, and then you hero power again. And then on turn 3, 5 gold, you now can level for 3, hero power for 2. So you're not wasting economy, because the early game of Battlegrounds is all about do not waste money. Do not roll, do not waste money. And so I just think people are using Cthulhu wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. But the first time I saw someone just hero power every turn, I was just like, oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. The token thing makes all the sense.
Those minions in front of me are bad. I'm going to level hero power. Hero power.
Yeah, it's like if you've done Maiev, like you get it. It's a different reason why the value adds up, but a similar application.
Right.
So that's good. I would like Rafam to get offered to me again. I haven't seen Rafam in like forever.
I like Rafam.
I do too. It's fun to play.
I almost cosplayed Rafam.
What?
Oh, that would be pretty sick.
I got halfway through building it, and then it was I was gonna.
Have a Rafam?
I have half a Rafam.
As half a Rafam today, and you did
Left
it.
half or right half?
Top, bottom, left, right.
I got halfway through building it, and like I was gonna try to have it for BlizzCon last year. But I just didn't get it done in time, and then sort of lost the will to keep working on it because I didn't have a looming deadline. So
I feel like
it's sitting in a box in my bedroom right now.
He has
like 3D printed his like magic bracer thing, and
fancy.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say he stopped because he doesn't have great hair.
He doesn't really have any hair.
He does have a great hat though, big feather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hat game is strong.
Cool with it.
It's like Vigil. Vigil and Ridiculous Hat. Strong hat game.
Strong hat game.
I know you're not wearing a hat today, Hat. It's just
Hat's
literally
just waiting for the opportune moment, and it is going to dunk on us with the best hat. I'm just waiting for it.
I kind of like that's got to be the plan, right? He must have a bucket.
I have to assume that's the plan.
He's just waiting. Waiting.
Oh, there we go.
Perfection.
Happy 400 hat. I like it.
Yeah. Top hat with a pearl on it. Like.
Yeah.
Yes. It's definitely not my wife's, and I definitely didn't just swipe it from her desk.
It doesn't even matter. You look fancy.
Well, thank you.
You gotta be dressed nice for the 100th episode. So.
Yeah. It's like the BlizzCon charity dinner. Except, like, not really.
Have you been to that? I haven't been to that. I don't know what it's like.
For that.
Yeah.
I've never been.
There was a charity dinner.
Yeah. We
Thing.
do it.
Did I make
It's
that up?
Children's Hospitals of Orange County charity.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll go in like 2025, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
God, I hope it's not that long. I really do. That was hitting me so hard when putting together the clips. I was just like, oh, God, BlizzCon. Like,
I miss BlizzCon.
Yeah. My wallet didn't miss it, but every once we got past it, and then especially after pulling clips, I was like, God, I miss seeing my internet family. It's been missed.
And yes, Lindsay, I did wear a casual Rafam cosplay to present the set to the team. She's pointing out in chat. I did.
We're getting the inside deets.
I think that was in a slideshow that Kosak put together at some point. He included a photo of that somewhere, so I think it exists somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if you find that for us, we'll make it the thumbnail for the
Oh,
episode.
I won't find it for you.
Lindsay.
Texting Dave now.
Lindsay. Hook us up. So was it your idea to dress up, or was it
Rafam
Dave's?
hero portrait? 100%. Like in like a bathrobe or something, like just chilling. Maybe with a coffee mug or like a martini. I could go either way.
I know you're not on Hearthstone anymore, Lindsay. It's okay. You can still find photos.
You have access. We know.
I believe in you. I believe in you. Lindsay was sending over old photos of us. What you remember? She used to take pictures before we go do dev interviews at BlizzCon. That was getting sent over today. I was like, oh man, just pour the nostalgia on, just killing me. But let's keep it going though. Let's do our look back. Let's talk about since we've been doing so many damn episodes. Let's talk about the fact that Hearthstone has been going on, if you count beta, which is how long the show has been going on, for longer than 7 years. So I'm just around the table. Like, when did we all get on board with the game? Like, was it right away? Because I remember watching the reveal. That's my story. Is I watched the reveal, and I remember it seeming strange at the time that there was going to be a Blizzard announcement at PAX. I was just like, that's weird. They don't usually.
It was unusual.
It was strange. It was unusual.
Yeah.
It was not what people expected.
And I've told the story before, but when you do this many episodes, not everyone's heard it. So I will repeat that the very first time I saw it, like I was really hard into StarCraft 2 at the time, and I was still raiding a ton of World of Warcraft. So Hearthstone gets it revealed, and I'm like, that seems a little small scale for Blizzard. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I think that was everyone's reaction to that.
Blizzard Entertainment announces a new game,
and
a card game. Yeah, there was definitely some of that reaction going around.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of, oh, this is actually fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I watched, like, I remember, like, I had to go away, so I didn't, see the shoutcast of games at first, but I went back and watched them, and then I was interested, because I had just started playing Magic, like, a year and a half before. I was a real late bloomer with Magic. And so once I actually saw it played, I was like, oh, damn, okay, this actually looks really interesting. And then once I got my hands on the beta and everything, I was in. I mean, we started the show, I think, 3 weeks into the beta, so I was
I got
pretty
super
early.
lucky and won a code off another podcast, off a WoW podcast, and got into the beta in the first week and a half or something. Started playing. It was like, oh, this is fun, and that's how the show started. Is I was like, oh, hey, here's the thing we can talk about now, Garrett, because we had known each other kind of peripherally in the podcast community, looking for something to start up talking about. And Hearthstone came along, and I was like, oh, sweet, I'm actually in and playing. If I hadn't won that code from a WoW thing, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I got real lucky too, because it's not like I had any ins. I didn't know anyone at Blizzard or anything at the time. I was in the second wave of invites for the beta, and it was the only time I can remember getting into a beta in a timely fashion, without winning a key, like you said, or something like that, or knowing someone. So that was really cool. I'm just gonna keep going around what would be a circle in a rectangular fashion. Vigil, when did you get on board for Hearthstone?
All right, so I was visiting my friend in college. He went to Full Sail in Florida, and I was visiting there, hanging out, and
so many Florida connections.
Woo, Orlando represent.
but we were hanging out, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "I know you love Blizzard games, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, Diablo 2. I almost didn't graduate high school because I was just playing Diablo 2 nonstop." And he was like, "Dude, check out this game." And I played it, and I was like, "Wow, card games are not for me. Like, I didn't have fun at all." but I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was like, why is this game that I didn't have fun at first, I just love? Like, what's going on? And I started playing it more and more, and I was just like, wow, I'm so into this game. It was my first card game ever. Never played Magic, never played Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, any of that stuff. And I started playing it more and more, and I was like, this is exactly the game I like. I like the mix of like strategy, like chess, and like a hand like poker, like, and kind of bluffing and all that kind of stuff. Like, I love this kind of game, and I just went full on. I just quit playing any other games I was playing, and I played nothing but Hearthstone. And I've played Hearthstone every single day in some capacity since the beta until today. Every single day.
Don't force yourself to have days off like me.
No. I mean, I at least just I log it into my dailies at least that. But it's I love the concept. I love how it comes from like a Warcraft background. I love Blizzard games, and I don't know. It's just stuck with me. It's the only game that I've played, like I said, every day since it came out. So
I love the concept of a game that basically offended you that you then couldn't put down.
For real. Well, I wasn't a card game player. I didn't see the point. I didn't see the appeal. I never got into Magic. I never whatever. I play Magic now because of Hearthstone. So thank you, Hearthstone, for getting me into brought me in the card games in particular. But I was just like, yeah, I'm only going to play Warcraft, and I'm only going to play Diablo. And like, I only like these kind of games. And like, it blew my world. And I've never stopped playing it. So
is that the same as when people tell you they started listening to 18 Visions because of the Ghost Inside? Is that like the same feeling?
Yes. And I'm like,
you know, play Magic because of Hearthstone.
Funny that you say that, because they were a big influence on us. So
Slysssa, what about you?
I want to say I started playing in like 2015. It definitely wasn't in the beginning because I didn't really know about video games and card games or anything. Like, I was not in the video game world, though I wanted to be, because as a child, I loved video games and I wasn't allowed to play them. But I was allowed to play cards. I was taught to play different card games as a kid. And then when I was dating my now husband, he didn't tell me he was a video game player. For the first 2 years we dated, I didn't know. He hid it from me.
Slip through.
Yeah, because what happened was all his friends, their girlfriends didn't like when they played video games. So he didn't want to lose me from video games, so he hid it from me. The first year we were long distance, so I didn't know. The second year I lived with him, he didn't play once because he didn't want me to be offended that he played video. I don't know. And
that's love, though. That's love. He was willing to sacrifice video games for you.
Was willing. And the funny thing is, I loved video games as a teen, and as a child, but my parents wouldn't let me play. When I wanted an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Nintendo, I never got one. But when my brother wanted one, he got one. So I just wasn't allowed to play them growing up unless I went to a friend's house. So anyways, college happened, and I met my current husband. So the first 2 years, I didn't play video games. And then he started really wanting to play with his friends after 2 years. And so he realized his first instinct was to try and distract me so that he could play with his friends without hurting my feelings that he wasn't hanging out with me. He knew I played a lot of Sudoku. So his first try was Sims. He gave me Sims. I got really bored. I killed off the characters. I was like, oh, I'm bored. But his second attempt was Dota, and I sucked. I was like, oh, can I play with you guys maybe? And I played Dota. I was terrible.
What a ramp up. My God, from the Sims to Dota?
Sims to Dota. Whoa.
So we're
There's a
playing
complexity
Mario
ramp
Kart,
but
and
if you killed everyone in Sims, just like, okay, no, do that with the other guys.
Sure.
so we took you to mini golf,
them in a
and next
bathroom with no door.
Right.
date 1 mini golf,
those are
date
the
2
Dota
PGA.
players.
I think he figured out, he's like, okay, she likes video games because she wants to play, but she's not good at high skilled ones like MOBAs. So, well, she's good at Sudoku. She's smart. And so he was like, what if you tried this card game? It's called Hearthstone. And he had played it a tiny bit. So he showed me Hearthstone and I was addicted. Like I was playing anytime I wasn't working, I was playing, and he loved it because he got to play video games all the time. And then he encouraged me to become a streamer. And now I play video games all the time. He plays video games all the time. It's great. Like it worked out perfectly. But yeah.
Well, geez.
That is how but it's just so funny that our relationship for the first 2 years was not built on video games. But now that's all our relationship is like encompasses, because he plays World of Warcraft all day. I play Hearthstone all day. We're very much Blizzard oriented, and it's our life now. So cool. But yeah, 2015 is my answer.
I have not heard that story
Circle
before.
back.
That is wild. And since I think it's safe to say, I don't think I'm gonna like run into your parents. Although we were both in Florida, I'm gonna say shame on Slyssa's parents. Should have let you play video games.
Yeah, I mean, so my mom was a computer teacher, and so she let me play computer educational games. So I will say that she did let me play educational computer games. So, you know, Putt Putt Saves the Zoo and like Sim City, stuff like that. But did not want me to have a console. She was maybe ahead of the PC master race before I knew about it. Maybe that's what it was, you know?
I mean, I was wildly envious of kids who had a computer and B SimCity. I wanted to play that game so bad, and I was a console gamer until like late 90s was the first time I started dipping my toe into PC gaming.
Yeah. So
right.
I was always I still to this day have a little grudge that I never got a Game Boy or a Nintendo, because those are the two I really wanted. But now, you know, it's, you know, I get to play for the rest of my life. So it's fine. It's fine.
I can attest to the Game Boy. Like my OG Game Boy still works. So if you really want that experience, it can be had for $20 on an eBay trip. So.
Oh, thank
you could use that thing as a car jack if you needed to. It is built solidly.
All right.
Like they build them nowadays.
I believe we're over to Hat. Hat, when did you get on board for Hearthstone?
Well, I'm gonna answer with a tangent that you didn't ask for, because, you know, whatever. Why am I here? It's just thinking about like the stories that we just heard. Like my wife also, she grew up with a Genesis and a PlayStation in the house, but then like, you know, when she grew up into high school and college, they were like, no more video games. Got to be a grown up now and all that, which it's stupid. But now she has a Dark Souls tattoo. Take that, Mom. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Her mom is super nice. We're giving her a spare Switch to play Animal Crossing, because our house has multiple Switches because we have a problem. Anyways, so while y'all were talking, I looked up my transaction history. I started playing on April 23rd, 2014. I remember.
I don't look at that. It just depresses me.
I jumped straight to the last page and held my hand over the numbers. And oh God, there are 20 pages in the transaction history. I shouldn't have looked at even the page numbers. Celestalon, what did you do? So anyways, no, you're not.
My bad.
You're not sorry.
My bad. No, I'm not.
Celestalon was
implies you would change your behavior.
Was on World of Warcraft in 2014. It's not Celestalon's fault.
So not in 2013, in 2014.
I remember, so I'm a recovering Magic the Gathering player. Played Magic the Gathering for my entire youth, starting in the late 90s at summer camp. Like I was very young and played a lot of Magic for decades. And then I got a job working nights and weekends at a movie theater, which is an industry that used to exist where people went to the same place at the same time and sat staring the same direction for 2 hours. We don't do that anymore. And
to the movie theater too.
Yeah. It's a job that a lot of people got and then said, I'm going to do anything else. And I'm just like, no, I'll just stay for 13 years, whatever. We'll just see what happens. Yeah. Industry, by the way, didn't have a lot of safeguards for a national pandemic, but that's a different subject. So 2014, Hearthstone had just come out. It was the 1.0 patch. And it had just come out on iPad only, I think, and on desktop. I think you could get it on iPad then. And I remember that period so clearly because Soulfire costs 0 mana. And I'm like, well, this is stupid. Why does this card not cost anything? And so I just built Reynad Zoo because I wanted to play Shield Bearer into Doomguard as nature intended, and didn't actually touch the game for most of the rest of that year. But then when it came back out on mobile, I'm like, all right, it's on mobile. I can play quickly. I can play easily. And I recognize that I'm baiting the crowd a little bit here. I sold off one deck on Magic the Gathering online, and I bought every deck in Standard. And I remember thinking how affordable the game was at the time. And
You're asking for it, man.
Okay, but like I sold one Goblins deck on Magic Online, and I bought into Hearthstone. I'm like, I can just I have everything. I can fill all 9 deck slots, and there were only 9 deck slots. I needed to keep track of extras because we didn't even have deck codes yet. We had to build them, clicking cards like a Neanderthal.
In my day, we didn't have codes.
We didn't have
We
codes.
only had 9 deck slots, and we liked it.
Slysssa, when people didn't want to play Constructed, they played, I forget what it's called, Arena? Is that how you say that? Arena?
I was
something.
Played
I don't remember.
I mean,
We
if
didn't have a
Twitch views or
modes
anything
button. We
that-
didn't have Tavern Brawls. We just had 9 deck slots and no codes, and I loved every minute of it. So yeah.
We had to
It's
walk
funny
up.
thinking back to the beginning, like the thoughts that you had, like you were saying, like you thought like it's super cheap, right?
I still think that, by the way, but I recognize that the hot take.
Comparison to Magic, yes, super cheap.
Well, yes.
I think the game's super cheap too. My game mode's $45 a year, so I would gladly pay Blizzard $45 a year because they update and they do a lot for me. So I'm very happy with the $45 a year. But that's all I do. What I was gonna say is, it's funny to think back to things from when you first started the game. Like, for instance, I didn't know there were decks. Like net decks. I've made all my own decks, for years. Years
plural?
Yeah, for at
than
least
one.
at
Wow.
least 2 years, because I didn't know about streamers. I didn't know there was like a professional league. I had never heard of Magic. I remember when I first started streaming, someone's like, "Oh, did you used to play Magic?" And I was like, "I don't know. I know a few tricks, like card tricks, but I didn't know there was a game."
Pulls out a coin.
Like, I was so naive about this like whole industry. I didn't know. And one of the things I didn't know until I started streaming was that this game was available on something besides a phone. Like, I only played on my phone for 2 years. Like, no clue. It was a PC game. Like, that's
wow.
That's awesome though. Like that's so rad to hear. Like,
yeah, I honestly refuse to play on my computer unless I'm streaming. Until the last 2 months, it's been unplayable on phone. Hopefully it gets fixed. I think it's the prizes and the time turner that we talked about earlier. But I'm gonna leave that.
I believe some tweets were headed off at the pass at the very beginning of this conversation. So
Yes, maybe.
Shout out to the engineering team. They work really hard. Thank you,
I do.
engineering
I
crew.
do. I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for all of it. I'm very grateful for Battlegrounds. It makes me happy.
But yeah, the mobile client was such a huge deal, and that was when I went from this game is a cool, side thing to what I want to play to this is the game that I want to play because I can play it anytime I want. It's when you're working a Wednesday night at a movie theater, there's not a lot going on, and I couldn't exactly boot up Magic Arena or Magic Online. It was Magic Online back then, which is a very different program. Don't look at it; it'll burn your eyes out. And you could just, I'm not saying I did this, if anyone from my company is listening, but if I hypothetically had wanted to play a single game at work in 5 minutes in the bathroom, I could have done that.
Because I was a teacher for a few years before I was a streamer, high school teacher, and I would try to only play during my lunch break, but my lunch break was only 30 minutes. And there were people playing certain decks that would take longer than 30 minutes, and it was so frustrating. But also then I would start to do it on my off periods, which was probably a no. And a student one couldn't come in for office hours, I'd be like,
That's talk to me right now. I have things to do.
Like, I can't just quit. There's no pause.
Yeah,
But
Hearthstone on mobile is definitely a double-edged sword. It's incredible that you can play it wherever you want, but it's also scary that you can play it wherever you want at any time.
no,
What would you have done? Like, did you ever catch any of your students playing Hearthstone in class?
I only one of my students ever said that they'd played it, and I've never had a student find my stream. So
I've never had a student find your stream?
No,
Wow.
a student's never found my stream. I taught for 3 years. I had like 150 students per year, plus all the other students at the school who knew of me. So, but I've never had them find me. But something else I used, my husband and I used to go to the bar every Sunday to watch football, and we would play Hearthstone the whole time. Watching.
I think we're gonna say someone like recognized you at the bar. They're like, "Oh, hey, I love your stream."
No, but that's actually how I met Chan Man. I met Chan Man because I went to a local fireside gathering, and he was running it.
Yeah, because he's also Florida based. He and I had talked for a while about trying to do one together, but like I'm West Coast, he's East Coast Florida.
Yeah, he's really... like a lot closer to me. But that's how I met him. I think I won the event and talked to him about wanting to stream.
I met my girlfriend at a fireside gathering.
Aww.
I didn't know that. What? That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
He's so cool.
I think at the BlizzCon we met.
Oh.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay. The fireside gathering on the night before BlizzCon.
So sweet. Imagine going to events.
Yeah.
That's great. Meeting people.
We'll get back there one day.
Within 6
Celestalon, do you have an extra can of wine?
I do. Just throw it on up to you.
Yeah, email it to me, please.
Just mail it. Well, Celestalon, you didn't start on Hearthstone. So, like, when are you allowed to say when Hearthstone came on your radar? You're like, well, there's this super secret meeting where we're discussing all these things that you're not supposed to know, and I'm going to accidentally say.
Yeah, exactly. I was a card gamer a little bit as a kid. I played Magic. I had a full set of Ice Age and Alliances. I don't remember what years those were, but something like 95, I guess. I don't know.
I refuse to tell you. It's just not, it wouldn't be fair to actually tell you what the years were.
Excellent.
It was 2014. They were very recent.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah, no. But I didn't play a whole lot of card games long after that. I loved like tabletop and board games and stuff. But yeah, then at one of these secret Blizzard meetings where we show off all the cool stuff that all the other teams are working on. Yeah, I saw that and it's like, that's cool. I work on Warcraft, so or work on WoW, so super fan of the IP and everything. And so yeah, like mid alpha, I guess, was when I started playing Hearthstone. I started working on it. I remember they had a meeting where one of our producers was like, hey, there's Hearthstone. I'm like, yeah, I do. I play Hearthstone every day. And he's like, they could use temporary, they could use for about 3 months, some assistance designing the next expansion. Do you want to just go try working on Hearthstone for 3 months and then come back? It's just temporary. They can't keep you. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I went over, and the initial design team for that expansion was me and Brode. I sat next to him, and we came up with pitches for several pitches for potential next expansions to do, and we developed pitch documents for 2 of them, I think, and sent them out to the whole team, which was 40 people at the time. No, less than that.
How many people is it now?
Over 100.
Okay, I figured it was around that much.
Yeah. And he came back to me the next day and was like, "So which one do you prefer to do, the A or B?" And I'm like,
"Can you tell us what A and B were? Yeah. Can we?
Can you tell us which one?
Well, I can't tell you what.
Or like what was
A was League of Explorers.
Okay.
And I can't tell you what B is because we might still do it someday.
Okay.
We have not done it. It isn't anything that has come out yet. But we always have ideas. So
we have a hint at least. Like you're really leaving us.
Slysssa, you're gonna make it so that he can't come back.
Lindsay is in chat right now, biting her nails. Don't give Lindsay or Chris a heart attack.
You're gonna get him in trouble.
Earmuffs.
Okay. If it starts with a U and rhymes with Bulduar, then wink.
So Brode came to me and was like, "Which one do you want to do? Which one do you prefer, A or B?" I'm like, "Well, I'm happy to work on either of them, but I much prefer A." And he's like, "Great, me too. Let me double check with the directors." And then later that day, he's like, "Okay, yep, they're all on board. Go ahead. I'm going on vacation to Hawaii for 2 weeks, so you just make the set."
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, what?
No pressure.
All right. So, yeah, first draft of League of Explorers was me. And then Brode worked on it and File Design worked on it and whole team. But, like, yeah, that was just 3 months of my time there was, working on League of Explorers. It wasn't until, like, a couple of years later that I made the full swap to switch to Hearthstone as my main job. So
that's a wild story.
That was
League of Explorers seems really early for you, but I didn't realize you did like a short little
I did a little 3-month
internship thing.
Internship for League of Explorers, and then gosh, I think Boomsday was in Final Design. Like I think Witchwood had just come out, or maybe it was about to come out. Yeah, I think Witchwood was about to come out when I rejoined permanently.
Okay. You could say that Witchwood had already come out so you don't get blamed for Gennabaku.
Well, I didn't work on them. They were already done in the can by that point, but yeah.
Well, also, they fixed Gennabaku at breakneck speed compared to how long we had waited for. That was rotation. That was like this wild out of nowhere rotation.
Yeah,
so that was,
they rotated after 1 year instead of 2.
League of Explorers, I think I've told this story before. I don't know. Brode's not there anymore, so I can't get him in trouble. But League of Explorers, that BlizzCon when it was announced, that was the first time I ever got a tour of campus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We went together.
Yeah,
it was you, me, and Katie.
Yeah.
Katie, my wife. For podcast listeners, don't know what my wife's name is. We all went, and we weren't supposed to be able to go on a tour of Team 5 because there was stuff out for League. And then like Brode was like, just come up real quick. It's fine. He's like, I know where I can take you. And we're walking by, and there's this wall of key art, like multiple big, gorgeous printouts of key art, and it's all stuff we had seen before. But Joss, you and I both like kind of dead stop in front of this one on the end, and it what I would come to find out is the key art for League of Explorers. It didn't have the logo; it just had the characters.
Have the expansion name or anything. But
dude, this art is sick. What is this for? And Brode's like, keep walking.
Keep walking.
And that's my story with that. That's my story with almost being a leaker. If only I was so.
It's okay because we didn't say anything.
I want you to know that I was so dumb that I was like, "What an awesome piece of key art you haven't used! Like, what a shame that this hasn't seen the light of day." Like, I legitimately thought it was unused art.
Yeah, we didn't leak it because we didn't realize what we'd seen.
What a waste, man! What a waste.
At worst, I would have gotten like a less than 24-hour jump on the actual announcement. So, I mean, Knights of the Frozen Throne was leaked earlier than that. So, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. But oh god, I can't believe you worked on that. That's insane. Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. And now we go back to Slysssa trying to pressure you for the unused expansion ideas.
Yeah, expansion name. Yeah.
It involved fighting.
Okay.
There you go. There's your teaser.
Yeah, there's
not that I actually play World of Warcraft, so I wouldn't know.
That really narrows it down. The game with war in the title doesn't have that much fighting.
There was fighting.
Yeah.
There's your big teaser.
Jocelyn, I'm so sorry Battle Unicorns didn't make the light of day.
Right? That would have been a great expansion. I would have played the crap out of that. Not that I didn't play the crap out of everything else you've ever done, but
what if unicorns were the next minion type in Battlegrounds?
Oh,
they're gonna be kind of like styled after Jades. It'd be pretty sweet. They took Pogos out, so they could totally do it.
yes. Okay. Growing unicorns. I love it. Oh, they could start with that, like, because now there's a little battle pet of a baby unicorn in WoW. So they can start like that with adorable little baby unicorns and then grow. Yeah, like the Jades did, and get different art as they get bigger and bigger and bigger. I love it. Do it.
Could you imagine the art of like the tiny Finn-esque unicorn? Like,
but like a little baby unicorn with like
a little like Matt Dixon unicorn. That'd be adorable.
Adorable. He would do great art for that.
Yeah, it would.
I saw that notepad, Celestalon. I mean, by all means, anything mentioned here, use it for future expansions. You have our blessing. It's wonderful.
I'll give you my PayPal for payment.
And I'm like, I'll do it and give you all my ideas for free. Just do unicorns.
You can't say that. Reddit's gonna take it seriously. They're like, look at these people in Blizzard's back pocket. Oh my god.
Wait, did you not get your shield check yet this month?
Yeah, it's a little late because of COVID. Has yours not been delayed? You didn't get your shield check?
Yeah, they changed the address on the outside. It's.
Oh, okay.
I'll DM you that.
Gotcha. I can buy some Reddit karma with that. Does anyone of our guests here? Does anyone have a story of when this show, like when you were made aware of it, when you found it? And it is also okay if your answer is yeah, when you invited me on. That's when I realized it existed.
Which is totally Slysssa face right now.
I heard of the Angry Chicken a lot because that was like the only podcast I knew that was associated with Hearthstone. But I never listened to it because I don't listen to podcasts. So it wasn't like, I was just, it's like I don't watch YouTubes. People are like, oh, you don't watch, like, I don't watch Hearthstone YouTubes. I don't know anything about it. I have a YouTube, but like, I'm just like not in that world. I'm very encompassed in the Twitch world. I study Twitch meta. Like, I very much know everything about Twitch, but I don't know about YouTube. I don't know about podcasts. So I know of your podcast. It was like the esteemed Hearthstone podcast in my mind. So the first time I was invited, I was like, oh, that's like the Hearthstone podcast. I was like, okay, like, but I hadn't listened to it just because I've never listened to a podcast. So I don't even know how to get a podcast. Like, is it on? Like, how does one listen? I don't even know how you listen to a podcast because I never have.
Well,
you see, tune into Twitch when they're recording.
Yeah. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. So
exactly.
Back
but like, because podcasts are great for people who like drive to work or something like that, and I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they're not really great for like stream backgrounds. So when you're streaming like 8 hours a day.
But I feel like I'm always a couple years behind like the mainstream of what people do. And I started finding out recently that all my friends have their like favorite podcasts and like super into it. I just didn't know like how popular podcasts were until I started doing this one and started learning more about podcasts. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So
they got me through college when I was actually listening to them on an iPod. That's how I learned about like the medium.
An iPod? You could get them on iPods?
Yeah, that's where the term comes from.
Yeah,
that's the pod.
Slyssa's face right
hey, you want to get real back in my day.
You just watched her mind get blown in real time. Yeah, that was thought happened.
We're like roughly in the same age bracket, aren't we? Are you?
Okay. So wait. So this is pre-iPhone, right? Like when iPods had like they had internet access.
No,
you would download it on your computer onto the iPod.
Oh, from like iTunes. Okay.
Yeah.
iTunes. You had to like connect it with like a USB. It was like a basically like a memory stick you carried around that played music.
Yep.
Because you couldn't do live stuff while you were on the go because you didn't have a smartphone, so you needed to take the podcast and put it on the iPod.
Yeah.
Okay, so they for a very long time that I did not know about.
I think we're all showing our age right now.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say I'm gonna stop talking about when I got my first iPod because no one needs to know that.
I feel like I'm like everyone's age here. It's not like I'm the young
You're
one.
late 80s, baby, right? Yeah.
I was born in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So then it's fine. You just missed.
I'm just dumb. Like I don't know.
You just missed podcasts, which is like you're not.
Oh my god, you're my favorite. You're just.
I had an iPod with a Murloc Tiny Fin engraved on the back of it.
Aww.
This is adorable. Yeah, the little dancing one.
Oh, that's so cute.
I suppose that was Daryl.
That basically
dancing Daryl.
Yeah, the dancing Daryl.
That was the OG World of Warcraft BlizzCon pet. Was the dancing baby Murloc?
Yep, I got that. I named my iPod Murky and got the little dancing top hat version of him engraved on the back of my iPod.
All I had was a Green Day lyric engraved on the back of mine. That's not nearly as cool.
Which lyric?
It's off of the album Warning, which means no one's gonna even know what song it's from.
Okay.
Has pulled out their old iPods and been like, "Why is this so heavy?" Like,
yeah,
they were so heavy and so
they
thick.
were beefy.
Yeah.
They were only like 512 megs, and like they were gigantic. And you're like,
And
I can
that was
fit.
huge at the time, though.
I can fit 300 songs.
yeah. Or you can get them.
Insane.
How many playlists and how many hours? What?
Oh
Incredible.
my gosh!
You're so much better than my Discman. I only had one playlist.
Oh god!
I had a Discman too.
The in-between years were awkward too. I had one of those CD players that played discs full of MP3 files.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
like you would put a bunch of MP3s scattered randomly on this disc, and then like I have 300 songs in this disc. Wait, is this the right one? No, what about this one? And you don't have any track labels or names or anything. But it was cheaper than an iPod.
Oh yeah,
I think I'd mentioned this on the podcast. One of the Angry Chickens I did. I first heard about you guys because Daniel Negreanu had mentioned.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I was following. I don't know how I knew this, but I like poker. I'm not good at it. I just like poker. But he had mentioned that he was being on this podcast, and I was like, oh, I like Hearthstone. I like him. Like, I'm gonna check out this podcast. And I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then I just started keeping up every week, and it was my first ever podcast. And since then I've branched out a little bit, and now I listen to the Coin Concede podcast as well. I
hear handsome people listen to that show.
Very handsome people. But no, I didn't know anything about podcasts either. Like, I mean, I knew what they were, but I didn't listen to them. And
la-di-da. You knew what they were.
I wasn't trying to rub it in your face, Slysssa, but I mean, I knew what they were.
A little bit.
But yeah, no, Angry Chicken was my first podcast, and it's funny because people love podcasts, man. And like my girlfriend listens to like murder crime podcast. It's like
Me too.
Oh, it's her
Crime
favorite.
Junkie and my favorite murder.
Yeah, my favorite murder.
Everyone I know.
That podcast. So if we go on a drive together, she'll have to sit through Angry Chicken podcast, and then I'll have to sit through My Favorite Murder podcast. That's our trade-off.
Oh, that's
It's like-
nice.
Sit through.
Yeah.
What the
Well,
fuck?
I mean,
We did that before.
sure. I mean, I'm nothing against it. I it's not my thing. Just like Hearthstone's not her thing. So it's like, it's cool, man. You guys do lots of entertainment, and yeah, it's mostly driving. Like I only listen to podcasts when I drive. So if I don't get to check it out on Twitch, I'll just watch the VOD. I don't like just sit and listen to it like in my house unless I'm driving. So
Yeah. It's funny the Daniel Negreanu episode, because like this show was like a big springboard for like my professional life. Like it was the first show that we like launched a Patreon for, and I was doing freelance graphic design before this, and then when I started doing the show and started mentioning it, I found a lot more clients through the show, and eventually got into some regular contracting work, and I was able to quit my day job, and it all was because of this.
Yay!
But the Daniel Negreanu episode stands out because that's when my dad was like, "Oh, you made it." Because he had no frame of reference for any of this. He would suffer through some NES with me as a kid, like to be a good dad, but he was never into video games. or really understood any of this stuff, but he is a raging poker fan.
Yeah, I'm looking this name up right now.
Yeah, and so when and I told Daniel this, I told him as much. I thanked him profusely for coming on because my dad was like, "You're having who on?" And he was watching live on Twitch. I was getting texts from him. He's like, "Hey, I'm at the table. I'm telling everyone here that my son got to sit down at the end of the ground." I was just it was a really, for me, it was oh cool, my family finally understands what the level the show has gotten to. So that was a really big personal high point for me too. So it's awesome that's where you got on board, Vigil, because I was fanning out when I heard you listen to the show because I knew about the Ghost Inside. I was like, oh shit, I love the Ghost Inside.
Yeah, that was it's a crazy crossover because there are fans of the Angry Chicken and Hearthstone and the Ghost Inside, and it's like narrow how how many things are involved, but niche, but it's cool to know that there are fans of all this stuff, and you guys bring it together for 400 episodes, man. That's a lot of time and a lot of hours and a lot of good memories for sure.
I think Lindsay in the chat room is just now putting the dots together that you are the singer for the Ghost Inside, and we're watching her brain melt.
Hi, Lindsay. That's me. That's me.
All exclamation marks.
Yeah, like someone said in chat. Yeah, Olivia Munn. It's so crazy to see the celebrities who are into this game too.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I can't wait to meet Olivia Munn one day when we play Battlegrounds together and talk about rescuing dogs.
Yeah.
I have it all planned out in my head.
I will watch that episode.
Yes.
I'm
very excited to meet her in my mind.
That would be the weirdo. I would just want to talk to her about her time on G4 because that's the first time I remember Olivia Munn getting on my radar. Geez, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so I mean, we've kept you guys so long.
Who knew that 6 people on a podcast would go for a while?
Yeah,
we at least
that gamers could have normal conversations that last. Could converse with one another so well.
We are
proud.
And Garrett, you sent us rough notes, and we at least got through. Wait, let me count. One of the questions.
Two.
Yeah, our questions kind of just went out the window.
It's the same. It's the same sentence. That's a conjoined question.
Yeah. So
we had so many plans.
Yeah. So I will leave this and maybe hopefully we can keep it brief. What are our hopes for Hearthstone's future? And Celestalon, you're in on this, and you can talk about it as a player if you want the caveat of not as a designer. But Hat, I'll throw to you first. In closing, what are our hopes for the future of the game?
Honestly, the path the game has been on over the past year or two, it's hard to separate the past year from life stuff, right? From the world at large. And so everything that's happened in Hearthstone has felt so much more important because it has a larger perspective. We're projecting a lot of our personal emotions on our hobbies and vice versa, and they project right back. A bad day on ladder, a bad draw. If you play against a demon hunter, sometimes it's just...
there's going to be against demon hunters. I just concede against demon hunters, and my game is so much better.
See, this is kind of the point. That's kind of the thing. But I don't know, the focus on rapid iteration, try a bunch of stuff, and communicate with the player base. Oh goodness.
Get out.
Yeah.
You are not prepared.
I definitely wasn't.
I'm watching you, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Concede.
Can you see anything with those on? That looks
intense.
Yeah, the light's pointing at us. It's not pointing in his eyes, I hope. If they are, they're very poorly designed.
Yeah.
We got these for the Illidan storage locker video.
Oh yeah.
That was a great one.
That video was amazing.
And these are worthy.
That
was an excellent video.
That is
I love that so much.
I think that's tied with Knights of the Frozen Throne for me for favorite bits to announce. I still have a clip somewhere of Ben Brode saying "Everybody dies." Oh, here it is.
Everybody dies.
Yeah. That's just it's so good.
It was good shtick. But yeah, so the perspective on player communication and rapid iteration and all that, I don't think when you have that kind of framework that you can really go wrong. As long as the team isn't pushed too hard and there isn't too much going on and the client can handle it as well. Hearthstone's a mature game. It's been around for 7.5 years, and I don't think that the original design accounted for 8-player private lobbies of a mode of a genre that hadn't been invented yet. So, when you
verify that is accurate.
Yes. So when you duct tape this amazing game mode on the outside of this other game, like Hearthstone is transitioning from a game to a platform, and that's awesome. And I love how much stuff there is to do in the client, and I love they don't have enough time to do all the Hearthstone that I want. But as long as the team can balance their time, their energy, and as long as the client can handle it, and as long as player communication stays up, I'm really happy with the direction the game is going. So my number one wish, which I know will never happen, is that I want social media to be nicer to the people that make the game.
Aww.
I like that.
Yeah. No DMs to developers, no DMs to developers telling them to kill themselves. Like, I don't know.
No death threats. Like that would
is that a lot to ask for?
I will say that I have to give the Hearthstone community credit of I've worked on WoW, I've worked on Hearthstone, I've seen other games out there's community.
Yeah.
As negative as the Hearthstone community can be in places, or as there are bad actors in some places, the vast majority are really nice. The vast majority I appreciate a whole lot. And my death threats per hour has just gone way down over time. So I mean,
I'm a metric.
I'm glad to hear.
I mean that I'm making fun of it because humor is how I make fun of, or how I cope with things. But but honestly, I really appreciate the Hearthstone community. Yes, there are some negative, overly negative, bad influencers out there, but the vast majority is really good, and we love the community. I love our community. It brings us amazing shows like this, and I don't say that just to be corny on here.
But we appreciate the corny.
I'll bring it home by saying I also do a Star Wars podcast, and I feel you on when you look at other fandoms, Hearthstone seems like one of the most positive corners of the universe. So.
Yeah. Star Wars been a little touch and go. Thank goodness for The Mandalorian.
How good, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
What a show.
Never seen Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're learning so much about Slysssa.
I just
Jeez, so I don't know.
Garrett, I listened on the last podcast when Joss was saying all the things she hasn't watched. I was in my car. I was like, I was gripping the steering wheel like, oh my God. How have you not seen this? I was getting so frustrated.
Joss and I on the same page. Do you not watch things like I don't watch things?
There is a huge slice of my life growing up that apparently everyone else was watching TV and movies and I was not.
I've never seen Sandlot. I'd never even heard of Sandlot until an adult,
wow.
and people were shocked I'd never seen it. I was like, "What is Sandlot? What is the Goonies? I've never even heard of these things."
Oh God!
You're killing me, Smoke.
Oh my God!
Killing me.
Oh, death by 1,000 cuts. Oh,
I can forgive Jurassic Park. I can forgive Star Wars. The Sandlot?
Whoa! I was an adult.
I didn't even know that was a movie.
Well, I'm going to fight you, Hat. The Sandlot is so below Star Wars and Jurassic Park in terms
Sandlot
of cultural
is real
relevance.
far down the list from Star Wars and Jurassic Park.
I've seen it.
John, we'll talk later.
I've seen it, but I haven't. I don't remember it because I haven't seen it since before I could read. So, that's where Sandlot falls. I could recite Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Joss hadn't seen Home Alone until last year.
Okay, come on, Jocelyn. You didn't said Home Alone.
So I was gonna say, next time we actually have a BlizzCon, we could just have a movie night and we could all watch all the things.
We might need a movie week.
Seen.
Yeah.
Okay, touche.
Yeah, I don't watch
we're
movies,
definitely,
so I don't know.
We're definitely going to go to BlizzCon, not hang out with people, and sit in a dark room and not talk to each other. That's 100% what's going to happen.
But
It's
do you
not
guys-
going to be a sloppy mess at the Marriott bar. That's
Do you guys play Hearthstone while you watch movies? Because like that's what I do. So I'm just curious.
I watch RuPaul's Drag Race on the side while I play Battlegrounds.
Yeah,
That's my
Yeah,
happy
I don't
place.
have the
multitask.
attention span to focus for more than 17 minutes anymore.
Yeah.
Office
So I don't watch
reruns.
movies.
Office reruns is my Hearthstone
Yeah.
stream time.
Twitch streams is the background for any gaming for me. I can't do movie or TV shows. If I'm watching a movie or TV show, it's 100% focused on that.
I've tried it. I can't do it like if I have like Slysssa stream on the side. I'll be thinking of the strategy Slysssa is trying to deploy while I'm playing Battlegrounds, and I can't do it.
Yeah, like I'll play Battlegrounds and watch Dead by Daylight, but I can't.
Yes, I can't watch the same game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
I watch Battlegrounds or constructed streamers while I'm or Arena.
No, you don't. Don't lie.
He tried to sneak it in.
I'll be honest.
Team America's still playing Arena, right? Like just Team America?
Dreads. I watch Dreads. I watch Dreads. When Hafu stopped playing Arena, my Twitch Arena watching nosedived. I've watched Hafu forever, but no, I watch other games when I'm playing Hearthstone, and I watch Hearthstone when I'm playing other games.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because you hear the sound from stream and you're like, wait, what happened? Did I miss something?
Or you missed a turn. You thought you bought a minion turn one, and then turns out your person you were watching bought one.
Yeah.
I lost that game.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos, like mostly YouTube videos about food. I had to stop watching YouTube videos about Hades because I would get 5 minutes in and be like, I want to play some Hades. And then,
you're there.
Can't do that.
Yeah. See, if I have StarCraft on the side and I'm playing Battlegrounds, I still get worried about the Reaper drop in my back in my expansion. So, it's still problematic. Celestalon, did you have any like hopes for like Battlegrounds future or anything looking forward?
You know, I've just been very happy that Battlegrounds sees like nice mini changes every few weeks and then major changes every few weeks after that. It gets a lot of good attention to just keep it interesting, which I really, really, really like. So Battlegrounds just makes me happy. It's interesting because like when I played Standard, I was playing Standard probably like 14 hours a day minimum. And I was obsessed. I was obsessed. On your phone? On my phone. Or like I'd stream all day and then I'd play on my phone all night kind of thing. And I was obsessed with Standard. And it's crazy to think that now that Battlegrounds is introduced, I don't touch Standard. I have not played Standard since the last tournament I was invited to. I hadn't even been playing that much Standard. I prepped for the tournament. I participated and I haven't touched it since. And I struggle to even go back to that game mode. So I like that we have a new mode and it like brings light. And I hope, I guess for the future that, okay, I'm going to be playing Battlegrounds for the next 3 years, hopefully. And maybe in like 3 years, another new inventive game mode comes out. And then I'm so excited. Like, I like that we're coming out with new modes. I hope there's not too many new game modes. I feel like every 3 years it'd make me happy.
I think they're going a little faster than that right now.
Yeah, it's like almost scares me because I'm afraid that like if there's too many new game modes, then I don't know what to do. Just because I'm the type of person that plays one game and one game only. Like when people ask like, what are all the different games you play off stream? I'm like, nope, Battlegrounds. I play one game. I played Standard. I only played Standard. And now I play Battlegrounds.
Not even one game, one mode. Like
one mode. I have a very addictive personality when it comes to games. And I just want to perfect it and that's all I want to do. I don't like variety. So it scares me that there might be too many modes, but I want there to be more. I just want it spread out.
There's another mode. There's another mode coming this expansion cycle. So
yeah.
No. Can we put that in 2 years? Just like put it on the back end.
All right. Just for Celestalon.
Wait. Garrett, I'd like to formally request we strike that remark from the record.
Hold on, it depends on the mode. Like, is it like my dream limited format? Because then please don't pause it. If it is not my dream limited format, I mean, feel free to put it on the back burner for a bit.
If it's related to like arena, I don't care. Put it out, sure. But like,
the shade.
You might want to play.
Wow.
Shot fired.
The shade on a podcast that hasn't covered arena in like 2 years, but yeah.
It's so I always describe it like this. There's different speeds to the game, and it's like standard is the standard, right? And if you play wild, you're like into crazy kooky things, but if you play arena, you're like opposite. You're into very bland tempo, like I don't know. And so standard's like the middle of that, and I don't know. That's why I don't like arena. It's just too bland for me.
Say fundamental instead of bland. It's nicer.
Blandamental.
A new minion type coming to Battlegrounds.
For me. But like, again, like I said, I didn't grow up playing Magic or all these things. And I think arena has like more, right? Like Magic's more arena style for a lot of people, right?
Careful, online? You're gonna get Garrett going.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
I feel like we've been harsh on arena, so I don't want to give my response. But my response is the reason I'm not really into arena is because I think Magic has more interesting limited formats.
Right.
Yeah. That's It's
and I don't play Magic because there's way too much reading.
We'll go. It's sealed
and
adjacent.
You like do all the work. Like Hearthstone does all the work and figures out all the things. I just go have a card and Hearthstone goes blah blah blah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why I'm addicted to Battlegrounds.
If you're playing Murlocs, it does that.
That was kind of a Murloc sound, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
I'm with chat room Celestalon. If we could please get Blandamental as a minion name at some point, that would be delightful. Thank you. We got the notepad. We're good.
The notepad.
We're good.
Just like a tier 1 2/2 doesn't do anything, just Blandamental.
Rename the second half of Celelemental. You have Celelemental and then Blandamental. There you go. It's already in the game. It's got to be really easy to program, right, Chad? We all know how to program, so we should tell you how easy it is.
It should be ready tomorrow. Tomorrow it should be programmed.
Just push the button.
Patch
Just make
Easy.
Fix your game.
I get so mad at those kinds of comments.
Celestalon, you're going to have like an eye twitch at the end of this, and I apologize.
What is the back half of Celelemental called? I don't even remember.
Water Droplet.
Water Droplet.
Ah, true.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
Nicolina drew it very cute. I don't know if you guys saw that on her Twitter. It was a really cute water droplet.
I saw her drawing. She was drawing Cthulhu with Santa hats.
She's done some very interesting drawings over the drawings and reinvents them. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Segue. Sorry.
We need to get Nicolina back on. We were talking for a while, and then a lot of like standard heavy stuff came down, and we're like, all right, we're gonna wait for the next like Battlegrounds heavy bit, and we're gonna make good on getting Nicolina as a return guest. But now I'm gonna sling it over to Celestalon. Future hopes, dreams, and it doesn't have to be as a developer, but I won't stop you.
I should have spent the last 10 minutes thinking about how to answer this.
We thought you were.
I was, and then I got distracted hearing about sandlots and
you couldn't handle how wrong we were about how easy it is.
My childhood was so distracting.
I would say I want to go. Ooh.
It's like you can hear the tongue biting through the podcast right
and
now.
There's a bit of tongue biting, but it's
the problem is he already knows where it's going. He already knows.
Yeah, so like I know a fair bit about where it's going, but it's not so much that it's like
you can rail against your bosses right now and be like, I know where it's going and it's wrong and I wish it would do this.
Dean earmuffs. No, so like we've been going this direction of Hearthstone as a platform with these different game modes in the past year or two, right? And like you've pointed out, yeah, there's been some bumps along the way there of like it's a lot happening at once. And yeah, I agree with that. I'd love this to like get some of that polish in. But I also am like really excited about how like we're getting to do all these different things. We're getting to both continue to do new expansions that are super exciting every time. I truly believe that, and I'm super excited about where we're going. And also sort of expand in an alternate dimension here of the like, if doing new expansions is always this way, we're also doing other modes that way, right?
Okay.
So I know.
Excited for that. I was like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah. I know. I can see the little math teacher Twitch happening there.
Oh, excited.
Yes.
I thought it was just gonna be a leak. I was like, I'm so ready.
No, I was going X and Y dimension, not alternate dimensions. That's not what I was talking.
Maybe you go a little Z, like boy, like tell us what's going on.
Z is skill. Z is your skill.
Okay.
Right,
so the next expansion is Hearthstone Geometry Wars crossover.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Geometry Wars is a good game. I love that game. Yeah. So. Yeah, I just want to keep seeing like how we can expand it and get it like if you just looked at Twitch all day, you'd think, oh, kind of Battlegrounds replaced Constructed. Not at all the case. Like Battlegrounds is great for Twitch, but like Constructed is still super popular too. Arena even is still respectively popular.
It's actually really curious about the numbers of who plays.
I can't share numbers, but like,
okay. Can you DM me the numbers because I'm just a little curious.
Okay, all right. But like, it's not like dead or anything. Like it's if you just looked at the Twitch top that page, you'd probably assume it's only Battlegrounds, but it's really not. It's still very, very diverse, and I like that diversity and that like it's getting a lot of people like into the game of different types. It's getting a lot of like it's okay if you get burnt out on one because there's other things to do as well. So I like just how much we're getting to expand Hearthstone in all these different ways, and I just love that. So this is more of a like retrospective over the past year than the next year.
You just hope that it keeps going that way.
Yeah, and just like the cool stuff we have planned, I'm super excited for, and I will just tease you with that.
Did you just put on like the fake PR voice that we put on when we read press releases?
No.
Is that what that just was?
That was real PR voice, Garrett.
That was media training.
It's in media training. I feel that way, really.
Are we finding out stuff at BlizzCon Online?
BlizzCon Line will be very exciting.
That's a very zen answer. Yeah. Well, so a zen answer, who else is zen? Who else is monks? When do we get to feel zen like monks?
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you any teasers, but I am looking forward to BlizzCon Line.
Redditors?
It's funny because like at BlizzCon last time was when Battlegrounds was revealed, right? And I feel like it had like a very like kind of review at the time, and it's just like skyrocketed, right? Like it did so great. So
I was combative with other content creators at BlizzCon because like we'd be at like hotel lobbies partying afterwards. I'd be like, hey, what do you think of Battlegrounds? And everyone was like, it's okay. I don't know. I don't think it's as deep. And I was just like, you're so wrong. It's amazing. I was just like zero chill yelling at people.
I played 9 lobbies at BlizzCon. Every single time I left the line, it just went back in and it kept getting longer. And I think I passed Cora and Bites like 7 times in the same line.
I heard because like talking to other streamers, a lot of the streamers were like, yeah, I'll play it for a bit, but I don't think it has much replayability. Like that was kind of the thing I heard. And I wasn't playing it, even though I had access to it. I wasn't playing it because I knew I was doing like the streamer. I got streamer access to it on Sunday, which I was like the last person to get Saturday. Saturday's the last day of BlizzCon. So I was the last person to get access to it, and I just waited to play it till then. I just wanted like really fresh eyes on it. So I barely got to play it. But yeah, I just remember there being very mixed reviews, and I think a lot of people were wrong because it was the one person, right? He's above me. I think he had it correct. But yeah, it's very interesting, and so I guess I'm very excited and open-minded about what we're going to hear, because I think a lot of times people hear about something new and they get a little pessimistic. But I'm really excited.
Yeah, I don't think it was dissimilar from what we were talking about at the top when Hearthstone was originally announced. Was a lot of people being like, I don't know about this.
Card game.
I don't know if this has legs. And, same thing with Battlegrounds, like poof, like just taking over Twitch. So.
Well, the thing was, auto battlers at the time were like so big, and
yeah, they were.
And when they announced Battlegrounds, it was Hearthstone's take on auto battler, and it was like, well, I didn't really get into teamfight tactics. That wasn't my thing. Like, I don't know how this could be fun. And I remember talking with Dexter, and he was at BlizzCon, and he was doing the streamer thing like Slysssa too. And I remember talking to him afterwards, and he was like, dude, it's so good. He's like, you got to go play it, go in line and go play it. And I waited in line and I played it, and I was like, yeah, I could definitely see how this is fun. And like now I play, I think I play more Battlegrounds than I do standard. It's just, it's such a fun mode, and it's so fresh. I had no idea how Hearthstone was going to do that. Like, you guys really, really knocked it out of the park with that mode. Like, no one saw it coming. Amazing. No one saw it coming. And the content is just so good. So fun.
I think you bring up a good point. Yeah. Like, sorry, when it came out was when TFT and all that was really big. Mm-hmm. So when Battlegrounds first came out, everyone's like, oh, well, there's only like 4 minion types. That's weird. Like, there's not much versatility with that. And like you only have 7 in, like that's so lit, like because they were just comparing it, right? But then you realize how complex the 4 can be, and then 5, and then 6, and how much like I really, really appreciate, because TFT and all those other auto battlers, they don't have like heroes, right? They have the objects they put on their units. Like, I think that's items. Like items.
Yeah, they have like a store,
right? And then they have the different unit types, where it's like Battlegrounds is so cool because of the different heroes, which has not been seen before. And I just think that's so cool because it's so in flavor with Hearthstone. So I just really I just appreciate all of it. And I don't know how people are so creative to make these things.
I remember talking with someone too, and they were like, man, beasts are so broken. Like, they're just like draft
Mama
beasts
Bear.
every time. Yeah.
Remember?
Mama Bear.
So broken.
Yeah. Remember when beasts were unstoppable?
Yeah. That was the meta for a while.
Yeah.
It was something else. Yeah, like I've heard the argument about like Battlegrounds dominating the Hearthstone category, but during the expansion when I was playing a little bit less Hearthstone, or else Rumble, I was playing a lot of Dota Underlords, and the games were 40 minutes, and it was super duper complex. And then Battlegrounds came along, and just it lost all the dead weight from the genre. It's not that Constructed is going down; is that Blizzard won a new genre by putting it in the client of an existing really great game, and it's super popular and easy to watch and easy to play and like basically free. It's just really, really successful. It's nice to see. So,
boy, is that the right?
I'm hoping way easier to watch, in my opinion.
I think that's why. I think that's why it's taken over as the Twitch thing. If you go to Hearthstone category, like the first like 25, 30, I don't even know the number, streamers are all Battleground streamers. It's because it's so easy to watch. You don't have to know all the back cards. You don't have to know, like, I mean, there's a meta obviously, but you don't have to know like the standard meta. You don't have to know any of that stuff. You don't have to own anything. You plug in what you see, you can play. Like, that's incredible. Like, that's such a good like 1-to-1, like, oh, I want to do this, I'm gonna go do this.
You get a lot of comments from people being like, I haven't played Hearthstone in a couple of years. This looks new. Should I play this game mode? And it's like, if you haven't played in a couple of years, this is an excellent way to get back in the game, because it's so inexpensive, and you don't have to own all this stuff, and just like such a good way for people to get back into the game.
Yeah, it was an amazing BlizzCon when they revealed it. I'm sure the upcoming BlizzCon line will be an awesome event. Even though we'll miss each other, I'm sure that we'll remember it as a modern classic. Looking at you, Chad.
Stone face.
I take it all back. Celestalon.
Look at that
You have an
media
amazing
training.
poker face. Amazing. It's real good. Yeah, I mean, we could do this again, like the night after BlizzCon line. We can try and recapture that lobby experience. If y'all want to pay like $15 for a beer, you can pay me. We can.
No, we're dual wielding AMFs here. Let's be real.
Yeah, there you go. And then I'll pipe some music over my mixer and make sure it's so loud we have to
way too loud
ruin our vocal cords to have a conversation. Which is why I do all my podcast recording before Saturday night at BlizzCon.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that one clip off the very start when I'm like, I kind of laugh at that voice. I was like, yeah, it's because I was screaming the night before in the Hilton lobby.
That was a Saturday night recording, so we had already been through the majority of BlizzCon before recording a podcast. Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was a
mistakes.
I've never had a problem with raising my voice because I've had a little bit of practice doing that.
Yeah.
Teach me your secrets.
It's all from the diaphragm. It's all from the chest, not from the throat. It's from.
Now I just want to go back to BlizzCon so that I can have an entire conversation with you, Vigil, where you just scream at me like you do when you're.
I'm just yelling at you.
Yeah, but just normal conversation.
Natural.
Human
That's
cadence.
what I say to people. They go, yeah. So what do you do? I yell at people for a living. So that's what I do. I just literally yell at people.
Yeah. Well,
I do that too. I have to yell at my viewers every day. Dummies.
Can we get some happy cows in chat for that one?
That is a happy cows.
Yeah. Get some happy cows in the chat. I've never freaking used that happy cow emoji until I started tuning into your stream. And now
Is that what makes you happy?
It is
right?
my most used emoji, and it is entirely your fault.
It's like anytime you tie someone, so you do 0 damage to them, they do 0 to you. You're like, oh, this is so great. Happy cow. Like, yes. We did it. We got through together without dealing damage to each other. We're going to get together far. Like, this is exciting.
I went back and forth with somebody yesterday in Battlegrounds, and like in first and second, it was just us two. We went through like 5 rounds. We just kept tying, and I was like, happy cow, happy cow, happy cow. And he was like, angry orc. And I was like, happy cow.
No, this is exciting. We're going to get to the turn 20.
Look at us go.
Yeah. We're going to get to turn 20 prizes. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Pyramid was definitely living up to his name.
Pyrrha, you're mad. That's a bad joke.
Pure salt.
It took me a while to get there.
It's been a long show, and Katie just dropped off a martini. So yeah, that's where we're at.
There we go.
You're so fancy. I'm sitting here with a can of wine. You're like, oh, my martini.
I'm gonna a rock star.
I know about podcasts.
Well, this is where you call in a favor. You're like, excuse me.
Well, you do now.
Okay, well,
Garrett, think about when you describe Star Wars podcasts. This is like, what are any of those things?
No, Slysssa, this is where you text your husband and go, hey, remember when you hid gaming for me for 2 years? Could you make me a cocktail?
You think he knows how? He'd bring in another can of wine.
And would that be so bad?
No, it wouldn't.
Everyone, you have been far too generous with your time. I think I said, we're aiming for an hour. It'll probably go over. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark just on this recording section. So I'm going to bring it home. With my martini. I will say cheers. Thank you so much for coming and celebrating 400 episodes of this absurd thing that we do called the Angry Chicken. And why do it any differently? Around the table to our lovely panel of guests that are not here every episode, but do stop by from time to time, starting with Jonathan Vigil. Where can everyone find you, man?
You can find me on Twitch a couple days a week, Vigil SC. SC stands for Stream Crew, which is also all of my socials. At Stream Crew everywhere. That socials are thing. Go check it out. Thank you guys for having me, and hey, congrats again on 400. That's a very huge accomplishment.
Thanks, man. Slysssa, how about yourself? If folks are somehow unaware of where to find you and your awesome stream, where can people tune in?
I stream every day except for Mondays on twitch.tv/Slysssa. Slysssa has 4 S's, 3 are consecutive, SLYSSSA. And I have 2 YouTubes every day. You can find that at youtube.com/SlyssaHS. 2 YouTubes per day. And I like to tweet things, so you can follow me on Twitter, Slysssa, and I have an Instagram that I barely post on. But there's dog photos sometimes in my stories, so they're cute. I have 3 dogs, so you know.
I see sporadic Slysssa likes on my sporadic Instagram posts, so that's why I'm like, oh, that's right, you do have an Instagram.
I do have one, yeah. I just, I don't love taking photos of myself. And it's not like I do anything interesting. I sit at the computer all day and then I go to bed. So what do I take a picture of? My family,
Sounds like most of our lives, slightly.
Yeah. Like people who post like doing things, I'm like, why are you doing things? Like, this is confusing. So, yeah.
Well, Ridiculous Hat, when you're doing things other than guesting on the Angry Chicken, where can people find you?
The only other thing I do with my life is tweet and record other podcasts. So, I guess follow one of those things. You can find my quote-unquote content at RidiculousHat on Twitter, and I host 3 podcasts because I've lost control of my life at Coin Concede, that we bridge the competitive and the casual gap. At Vicious Syndicate, we take a data-driven approach to the standard meta at the high level. And then I also host a podcast about Hades, because that's a great game, at Hidden Aspects, if you want to talk about a different thing.
I was about to ask you if we could have a podcast off, because I was curious if you had tied or surpassed me in a number of podcasts that you're doing, but I'm still more foolish than
drastically in the lead.
Yeah.
You're like, what, 7 or something?
I do quite a few, which is when people I'm friends with on Battle.net are like, you're only at this rank? And I'm like, yeah, but how many times have you raided this week? And what's your rank in Heroes of the Storm? And how many Star Wars podcasts did you put out this week? I just start dumping.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank actually both Chad and Garrett. Chad makes my tweeting patterns look more normal, and Garrett makes my podcasting look more normal. So thank you for being outliers and justifying my behavior that I'm not the worst one.
You literally just hold your phone up to your wife and be like, see, I could be this.
Yeah, I haven't explicitly done that, or at least I won't admit to it here. Though I will say that Chad and I have talked about how we tweet, and TweetDeck is a magical thing, but it will consume your life.
Sometimes.
I think I remember it wasn't you, but it was somebody at a BlizzCon lunch or dinner party or something. Someone was like, "You tweet a lot," and I was like, "Yeah, how much do I tweet? I've had I've tweeted I don't even remember what the number was, but I've tweeted 8,000 times." And someone was like, well, how long have you been on Twitter? And I was like, well, this day. And they're like, that's 16 tweets a day.
That is okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
The math checks out. All right. Yeah, I tweet a little bit at Celestalon on Twitter. And yeah, otherwise at Play Hearthstone for other, Hearthstone related stuff.
Things you do?
Yeah. And then I like coming on podcasts. That's fun.
I was about to say, if people want to press you for questions, they can become a successful content creator like Slysssa, get invited onto a panel of a Hearthstone podcast, and then really corner you.
Yeah, just drill into me.
Very good tactic. It hasn't worked yet, but I tried.
That's all you have to do. You just have to try, so people see you're making an effort, and then they're like, okay.
All right. Well, we Joss, we had our lovely listener Hachikuma put together and put a lot of effort in to a trivia. A full-on trivia for you and I to face off against each other. And we're like, okay, we'll do that after the roundtable. And the roundtable has gone, frankly, as long as I realistically thought it would, but I was hoping maybe...
You didn't want to admit it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we may just have to do a 400 part 2 as part of episode 401, where we tackled the trivia. And also, I want to give a shout out. I will read this next episode, but I want to give a shout out because... today, as if perfectly timed in the mail, and I don't know how you can perfectly time mail nowadays. I got a first. 400 episodes, 7+ years of doing the show. Today, I got someone who decided to handwrite an email and actually mail it to me for the email section of the Angry Chicken. And so
I believe that is a mail.
Yeah, a handwritten email is just mail. No E.
Listen,
no electronic.
All right, so we covered what an iPod was, what a podcast is, CD
What
changers in
mail
cars.
is. Snail mail is a
No, it's physical mail. We
might
call it P-mail.
So
What the Sandlot is, we know that now.
Yes.
This came to us from longtime listener, the Rational Pie, someone I've been fortunate enough to hang out with in person many times, and Pie is just the best, and also holds the award of dude who frequently makes me feel like the dumbest person in the room, because Pie is extremely intelligent. But we made a one-off joke, I think 2 weeks ago, where we're like, oh yeah, email us here if you're a patron, you can hit us in the Discord. No one sent us actual mail, but if you have my address, go for it. And sure enough, today in the mail, this shows up. So Pi, we will read that next episode. Hachikumo, we will quiz each other next episode. But before we go, I would just like to say to everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. The reason we do the show is because of our awesome community. And the last year, I'll be honest, it was a rough one. Turns out a large percentage of podcast listeners are commuters, and 2020, people stopped commuting. And so we saw like a noticeable downturn, and it's had some knock-on effects, and it's meant we had to pivot and do some things differently across 2020. It's cascaded into 2021. It was a really hard year. And it's because of you and because of our community, like y'all lifted me up big time over the past year and over all these, 7+ years of doing this podcast. So I just want to say, we love our patrons. We love the folks that have gone at like the extra step to support us financially. But if you've even like listened to the show, if you've downloaded one episode, if you told your friends about it, you have helped us. This show has changed our lives in like a way I find it difficult to quantify, especially in company, because it's embarrassing. But it means the world to us. My life wouldn't be what it is right now without the Angry Chicken. So thank you so much to all of the cluckers out there that have been tuning in, week out. If you've been here since episode 1, if you just tuned in today, I know I said it at the top, but you mean the world to us. Thank you so much. You've got me through some crazy highs and some crazy lows. And so thanks. And we'll see you next week. And so also I'll say, Joss, I couldn't ask for a better podcast partner to be hanging out with for
these 7 years.
Yeah. And we've done more than one podcast together, so it's not just one episode a week. So thank you so much for being awesome. And I 100% I will admit to this, I have not been easy to work with the last year. And you've been a saint. So thank you for that. And so I'll pass the mic to you.
Well, I just want to piggyback on top of everything that you just said, but I want to apply it to everyone on the call with us today, because talking about our difficult year and us trying to pivot and try new things like Hat and Vigil and Slysssa, you guys all guested while we were trying some of those crazy things. You recorded things on your end. You sent us video stuff. You were down for whatever we wanted to try, and we just appreciate you guys so much. So thank you for being here for our 400. Thank you for everything you've done in the past year. You guys are awesome. Slyssa's running away with the dogs.
Yeah.
Hi.
Cheers, everyone.
They were like, oh, this is a nice moment.
To our friends.
But my headphones are stuck.
To our friends here. To our friends listening at home, to everyone in Twitch chat, to everyone getting it on the download afterwards, and to our friends over the course of 400+ episodes, and everyone in the panel, you know how this goes, so feel free to join in. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.